share. Okay, kita dah live kot. Dah keluar.
Dia start watch party ke share message je?
Share message je.
Okay, kita live. Episod 3, live recording. Baru episod 3.
Ya,
Ada lagi
baru episod 3 ya.
Ada lagi
Ada lagi berapa banyak?
Okay, Khalil, welcome Khalil.
Thank you for the invitation, bros.
Ya. Ya Khalil, selamat datang.
Baik, alhamdulillah.
Ali. Ya.
Ya. Ya, sihat alhamdulillah. Macam biasa lah. Macam mana kau? Mirul okey?
Okay. Kita last 3 jumpa bila?
Last 3 jumpa.
Pepentos ke?
2. Ya, itu lah Pepentos lah. 2 tahun lepas. 2 tahun lepas tak silap.
Lama-lama.
Memang sangat lama lah untuk 3 jumpa.
Time tu dropship tak? Dropship kan? Atau kita buat
Belum lagi, baru nak start.
Baru nak start Jauh perjalanan dah.
Sekarang apa projek?
AI and digital marketing. Di tahun ni lah, tahun ni punya KPI. Kebetulan with taking the opportunity untuk includekan this new product, this social listening for SMEs dalam our Cradle punya program lah. So Cradle will be monitoring our progress and then insyaAllah we'll get the product ready untuk pengguna SME lah especially. So dia dari pembelajaran my learnings dari tahun lepas lah. Mana tahun lepas Mesoretica dia focus on B2B enterprise. So ialah untuk corporate big companies and 2 companies yang in our competitor list I managed to jumpa diorang lah basically kan, introduce Mesoretica, introduce our Bahasa Melayu AI and offer our services lah. They are actually regional and worldwide market leaders in social listening. Tetapi diorang ni offering diorang ni tinggi lah, dia punya price point dia memang tinggi, memang sesuai untuk big companies, MNCs, global brands. Paling murah pun paling cekap pun $5,000 lah sebulan. So we memang filter out, memang we are trimming down that social listening dashboard tu and coming up with an offering untuk SME, maknanya SME punya usage lah. So it will be like a subscription model. Start with your freemium lah. We will use a freemium, maknanya people can sign up for free, enjoy for free, insyaAllah forever lah kan. Kalau dia setakat ada satu Facebook page untuk dia punya own enterprise, should be okay, boleh guna premium tu. But I think once you dah ada team tu, then dia kena upgrade lah kan, to enjoy more of the features lah. So that's in a nutshell.
Boleh cerita sikit ni pasal Cradle, macam mana
Cradle,
dapat join Cradle?
Cradle I join last minute lah. It's memang rezeki last minute. Tak terfikir pun nak apply the CGP program tu. But my alumni, my friend dalam alumni Stanford, Magic, dia push juga kan, bro, you apply je bro. Dia suruh apply. Okay. Then I think less than 48 hours kot deadline dia. So I just submit our general deck, apa yang kita dah ada, tak ada nothing fancy. Be honest about our revenue or what our development stage are and all that. Even masa the interview, the pitch and the interview with the judges, I memang straight up je lah kata that okay, we are joining in the hopes that we it's a coach and grow punya program kan, and we apply under the go to market. So regardless of our technology. The key here is to build a proven business model lah yang boleh generate income kan. And like I said, mentioned tahun lepas is all about getting big clients through enterprises. So dia lebih kurang macam cari project lah. Dia punya B2B sales cycle tu memang panjang. Turun naik jumpa the same people kan. Susah nak close lah. Memang susah nak close. I guess because of the size of the project and the price point semua tinggi lah. Okay. So when it comes to Cradle ni, because Cradle ni within 12 months tu, it's all about monitoring the progress month by month. KPI, the key activities, what we plan to do within the next 12 months, so memang dia akan betul-betul monitor. So we took the opportunity that halang-halang dia orang nak kerah kita untuk dapatkan result in terms of revenue kan, customers and revenue generating paying customers. We decided, and on top of the COVID punya digital marketing explosion lah kan, so to speak, semua orang pun dah going digital.
Yeah.
So we are trying to ride on that on that wave lah, the trend tu. So we're trying to see whether or not this product yang kita buat ni coming up, the socialist ni, it's based on a hypothesis a hypothesis that I've been wanting to prove, which says that okay, kalau you focus on your customer, especially you mean customer happiness that means how from a normal customer to become a raving fans yang buat referral, promote your product, your brands, regardless of dapat commission ke tak, dia akan promote produk tu. That's the stage lah, daripada dia from a normal prospect sampai paying customers sampai jadi new raving fans. It's all about are you talking to this customer constantly and giving best user experience atau customer experience to this paying customer lah. So using our AI Bahasa Melayu, we intend to come up with a index. This customer, what we call it now is customer happiness index. So there's a formula behind it that we calculate every single conversation with your customer. Mana every customer, you comment ke, you dalam punya messenger ke, kita akan tarik and kita akan bagi value in terms of percentage lah. Kalau low percentage, dia ada 3 range lah. It's either is a negative, neutral ataupun positive. So from there akan kita collate and it becomes a single index lah. So this index yang this companies akan monitor throughout the journey lah. Okay? And our belief and hypothesis is that if you continues to improve this index, it will increase your conversion rate. That's the fundamental hypothesis lah.
Okay, boleh cerita sikit for those yang tak berapa nak faham sangat lah technical macam you are in a startup doing something big data AI macam to normal people kan, apa benda ni
boleh
password apa kan, so apa sebenarnya AI big data, the things that you're doing in layman term, apa dia?
Okay, layman terms, AI lah. Kita start dengan AI lah kan. To start AI, the AI is about creating programs ataupun softwares that teaches itself using data. That's the fundamental lah. And so that means you're not creating a program. Macam kalau you buat software, you code the new rules, you will expect, you know what the output is. The input is such and then the output is such. Okay, but with AI especially ataupun machine learning, kalau the correct term machine learning tu, you just code dia punya what we call neural network ataupun model lah, the AI model, machine learning model.
Okay.
And then you feed the data. You feed the data and then you output yang dia keluar tu, yang dia generate tu, it's you fine tune to output sampai apa you nak lah. So lagi banyak data you feed into the model, dia akan bagi the desired result lah. Okay. So a good example is price prediction. Okay. So you let's assume that you have like 3-4 years punya price movement of a particular asset atau commodities. So by feeding this historical data dalam you punya machine learning model, you are able to come up with a projection based on the data that dia belajar lah. The machine learning tu dia akan belajar, the model will learn using the historical data, and then whenever you give an input, it's able to give you a prediction. So this prediction yang what the machine learning gives you, that's the value that this whole AI thing will do lah. So there is a lot of model, banyak tugasan, but for Mesotica, we only focus on language. The correct term would be natural language processing. That means we understand, we use AI to understand bahasa English.
I see. Faham.
But our focus, Mesotica, at our core ni memang kita just focus on bahasa Melayu dulu. That's our specialty lah. Our uniqueness is bahasa Melayu. Of course, we are able to do English lah. English tu dah boleh buat because tak ada masalah. Okay.
So basically AI ni just something, okay, kita ada data. Data ni boleh jadi anything lah.
Anything.
Behavior ke apa kan, data. So apa yang AI buat ni, dia macam dia baca data ni and then from there it can do anything lah, compared to kalau kita baca sendiri manually data ni kan, and then kita come up with the output. So AI machine learning ni dia akan read the data and then come up with some kind of output lah kan, yang
prediction. But most of the models, the prediction is always based on patterns. Mana dia akan recognize the patterns dalam the data set tu lah. So lagi banyak data, lagi besar data, they are able to recognize patterns much more easily lah.
So yalah, senang kerja kan, tak adalah you need human to do this.
A good example dalam e-commerce is your recommendation engine. It means macam you beli barang and then sidebar tu nampak, oh okay, you might like this also. So that is what machine learning is used for lah. So
kalau Shopee,
correct.
Shop punya app, kita beli pun kan, just tengok and then kita buka balik app tu, tengok oh ni produk-produk yang that we seen before ataupun that they recommend related to apa yang kita search ke kita punya browse kan.
So kalau macam produk tu yang keluar dalam recommendation tu is sama macam apa yang tengok tu, okay, that's not there is some maybe there is some machine learning dalam tu lah. Okay, but if the produk yang keluar tu memang tak sama apa yang kau tengok, but it's related same category ke apa ke, then maybe there is a machine learning in play lah.
I see.
Ataupun ada example Instagram punya explore. So Instagram
whatever
punya
you like tu,
explore,
dia gunakan whatever post yang you like sama tu, and then dia guna Vision AI. Okay, gambar ni dia suka gambar ni. Okay, then dia fit the gambar ni dalam dia punya model. Okay, here's 100 pictures yang maybe dia suka juga. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the engagement kan. So lagi banyak you engage, the stickiness increases, you spend more time on your social app lah.
Okay, so Mesotica macam mana in terms of language tu? How do you guys do it? And just summarize that.
Okay, so basically we just collect a lot of data dalam bahasa Melayu lah. Okay, so the biggest source of data kita yang kita constantly pull is from Wikipedia, Dewan Bahasa, as well as dalam news.
I see, faham.
Mainstream news lah, mainstream news, wherever you see dalam Google News, we data mine lah. So also as far as social platforms, the only thing that we can constantly pull right now is just Twitter saja. So Facebook, Instagram tu kita dah berkurangan lah, data dia dah berkurangan. So,
Kenapa daripada Twitter saja? Kenapa tak Facebook? Kalau Insta mungkin lah, sebab Insta lebih fokus kepada visualize kan. So kenapa tak Facebook sekali dalam termasuk kategori yang Khalil cakap dalam segi data mining tu?
So over the past 2-3 tahun lah, and all this started sebab the Cambridge Analytica scandal lah. So before this, the data APIs, the social APIs from especially from Facebook semua tu, a lot of things boleh tarik daripada Facebook API tu kan. But because of the scandal, dia dah make it much more stricter. And then kalau nak guna for personal Facebook profile tu memang dah totally block. nothing much we can do. But the value for us is on Facebook pages lah, the business pages. So that one, yes, there is some allowance. Apa tu? But bergantung pada apa you nak buat lah, dengan
I
data.
see.
You will apply.
So
you will apply and then you akan dapat access lah. Of course, this is all with permission of the Facebook page owner themselves nanti.
I see. The restriction rules tu lah sebenarnya yang mengacau untuk gunakan untuk digging on the Facebook platform tu sendirilah.
Ya, untuk Twitter still open, still okay. Still
Tapi those yang social listening punya platform macam social media tools like Buffer, Hootsuite, semua tu dia boleh ambil macam mention of your page ke ataupun hashtag ke. Kalau macam tu sama ke konsep dia? Macam
sama.
Kenapa?
You will be the same. Cumanya for new applications untuk API tu there is some restriction lah. So mana business yang sebelum ni pakai,
Okay.
they will go through an evaluation. They will check the company, dia punya business model to make sure that it's legit lah, it's a proper analytical company. So benda tu we will go through lah, but we have to start somewhere. So starting somewhere tu is from the business pages lah.
And then possible application untuk ni yang bahasa Melayu, data mining bahasa Melayu punya pattern semua ni untuk apa?
Okay, dalam konteks for now apa yang based on the data yang kita ada, especially the news one, we can create our own media page, online media punya site lah kalau kita nak. That's one thing lah. It's also dia akan jadi satu tool lah dalam the socialization dashboard ni. So because dalam the overall plan of this dashboard, kita start dengan social listening. That means kita monitor dulu you punya activity lah, your consumer punya conversation, right? So that's one. Then kita akan move into the generation. That means you use the Bahasa Melayu AI to generate articles for your content marketing based on your input lah. Okay. And then the last piece will be a conversational AI chatbot lah. So this is an upgrade of the existing chatbot where you just macam you borak dengan orang tapi cuma you betul-betul borak dengan chatbot lah. So
I see.
In order to reach that final tu, that we on our side will require a lot of data to train our AI, especially on conversations lah. Because sekarang ni data yang kita ada is just news article.
Yeah,
so when we did our experiment untuk generate article tu memang macam news article lah bunyi dia. Ayat-ayat semua, ayat-ayat negatif, ayat-ayat clickbait.
I see. Yes. So dia basically dia punya result tu memang mengikut daripada apa yang dikonsum oleh dia sendirilah. Okay.
Correct. Betul.
Ya, macam kat overseas sekarang kan dia banyak benda-benda pasal voice, apa Alexa, Google Home, semua tu kan.
Yeah.
Tapi bila dekat Malaysia ni atau even chatbot macam messenger bot, yang orang buat chatbot dekat ni Facebook for business use. Tapi masalah dia mesti kat language. Tak faham kan? Tak faham bahasa Melayu.
Betul. So that is the challenge and the problem that we are trying to come up with a solution lah. We just providing the engine untuk fahamkan bahasa Melayu tu. The chatbot engineers they will benefit lah once we have a mature punya engine, especially for conversational, because sekarang ni the stage of development is still considered R&D lah. The last round of testing that we did dengan Facebook punya chatbot, there is some improvement, tapi dia tak smooth lah. After you talk to the chatbot about like 15 steps, question and answer and Q&A 15 kali, dia dah cakap merapu dah. So we have to
I see.
Kalau
so
macam slang,
macam
slang, short form macam tu, is there a possibility boleh macam this engine boleh faham?
Yes. Short form, so that one what we call would be social not formal, mana social media macam WeChat, short form, semua tu is already taken care of lah. Maknanya in order to improve, it's just purely more data to train lah. So your basic short form tu dah settle, your apa tu social media talk macam anything on Twitter tu kita pun dah capture. So it just continuously. Sekarang ni yang tak ada is slang lah. Macam
Slang.
ke cakap Kelantan ke Sabah Sarawak ke. Lorat tu belum lagi. We don't have sources yet for that. But insyaAllah lah, kalau ada support for this, benda tu akan cepat. Benda tu once you able to find a reason for it to be crowdsourced, then it will become magical lah juga punya proses tu. So but what we have to have the workflow kan. So we are already talking to few parties for that, especially on the East Coast. They seem to be interested because it's more about heritage lah, warisan kan. Bahasa dia orang tu sebagai warisan kan. So they're looking into that angle lah. So for
going back to your ni lah journey, Mesolithica journey ni, macam boleh cerita macam first macam mana datangnya idea ni nak buat benda ni.
Okay, I joined Mesolithica 2019, end of 2018 lah. So it was actually an offer made to me and my other partners. The engine itself tu dah lama. It was created during the last general election. Memang digunakan untuk ni lah, untuk pilihan raya punya purposes lah, political purposes lah. But because of the success, my CTO Hussein, dia apply masuk dalam accelerator Watchtower and Friends. So dapat masuk. So he needed a business guy to front lah, to do the talking, to do the business element kan. So that's where the offer came to me, and then I ponder around macam, okay, memang I was looking for something under the realm of deep tech, something new lah. And before this memang I focus on e-commerce kan. But looking forward, memang nak belajar something new lah. At that point of time nak belajar something new. So I took up the challenge that okay lah, kita pick up on AI lah. So after like almost a year of doing talking business and that I alhamdulillah dapat some basic understand of how end-to-end AI system is being developed and what is required lah. Okay. And sekarang ni whenever I go to meetings dengan macam big corporations, just my job sekarang is actually to do AI awareness for the business corporation, because they tahu dia nak ada something AI, but they don't know what does it take to build AI system kan. So
awareness internally ke externally?
Internally for the company itself lah, because they terima arahan, okay, we need to do typically it will be like, okay, we need to do a digital transformation program. Okay, apa dalam tu? So banyaklah dia punya digital transformation punya programs, digital adoption, business processing semua jadi digital. But then towards the end tu dia kata, okay, we need something more wow. So more wow, of course, orang yang selalu cakap is, okay, data is a new oil. So dia also tengah fikir, how do we adopt this data as a new oil? That's why become big data. So big data, what does it take to become to have this big data? Okay. Because without big data punya infrastructure dalam organisation, if you're not capturing all the data, you don't talk about machine learning. Because you don't own any data. You harapkan data luar memang salah. Kan? So, I'm trying to bring this same concept to SMEs lah. I mean, even though they don't have to build dia punya big data infrastructure tu, what we're trying to offer to is somewhat a smaller version of the entire process of it lah. That means you start collect you punya data, social media data, your conversation through the platform, to our platform. Then once you are big enough, you have a reason to build your own machine learning. Then you have you have the data with you, and then you have an understanding of what it takes to have a machine learning punya system lah in place.
I see. So maksudnya untuk SME pun diorang ada capabilities lah untuk tahu tentang diorang punya consumer diorang sendiri walaupun diorang masih kecil.
Betul.
So basically daripada apa yang Meso faham, ya. So daripada apa yang Meso offer. Okay, tak apa, kali cakap dulu.
Okay. When it comes to SMEs, it does, once you look under, especially people yang guna Facebook ads, Google ads. Okay. dia memang dah tengok the Google Analytics punya numbers, punya metrics semua tu lah. So that is already the beginning of the journey. Cuma data tu on the Google and Facebook punya platform lah. Okay, now how do you use ataupun tarik all that data and you own it to yourself kan. So that's the early stage of the journey lah. But that fact of you looking at the numbers dalam you punya dashboard, dalam Google Analytics ataupun Facebook Insights tu, you are towards the data driven punya decision making lah. So that's a plus point lah.
I see, faham. So macam cakap tadi lah, so diorang ada sendiri untuk diorang punya apa orang kata untuk diorang punya sendiri punya data instead of bergantung kepada platform yang sedia ada. So macam social listening ni, macam mana pula social listening ni diorang yang boleh take advantage kepada diorang, sebab macam contoh macam Khalil cakap benda ni adalah more into the digital marketing. So how they benefit? Sebab bila kita cakap term social listening diorang tak faham. So sebenarnya daripada segi konsep apa yang benefit kepada SME bila diorang betul-betul apply the social listening ni.
Okay. So the social listening for SMEs ni untuk Mesotica yang apa kita akan offer, it's kita gabungkan. Okay, the customer happiness index tu is from us lah. Kita akan provide that matrix, but dia akan couplekan dengan your marketing and sales funnel. So funnel is memang semua orang dah more or less siapa yang dalam digital marketing they will understand lah the funnel kan, daripada awareness, consideration, intent and then jadi paying customers lah. So what we're trying to say that okay, kalau you monitor you punya index and apa tu follow the conversion daripada top of funnel, middle of funnel and bottom of funnel tu, that percentage of turun ke bawah tu, together with the index tu dia akan nampak lah the correlation of conversion rate lah, right? So the increase in your happiness, you will see that okay, the conversion rate dari satu funnel dari satu bahagian ke bawah akan naik jugalah. So that is the hypothesis yang kita, so dari segi pemahaman untuk digital marketers, the funnel will be it lah. Okay, however dia akan evolve. Okay, sekarang ni kita just offer the social listening kan untuk monitor.
Okay.
Monitor your customer conversation, right? But bila kita offer the phase 2 and phase 3 tools, which is phase 2 is the article generation to create content, your content marketing punya content, articles. Then you have the generate portion, right? To create more content untuk tarik or to bring awareness to consideration and then sampai ke bawah lah, right? And then the last one will be your chatbot. So chatbot ni is the automate portion. So automate ni is to create more conversations. So by using the chatbot, you create more conversation that will entail becomes a loop lah. Can you become a loop, you monitor your customer happiness index, then you create more content, you get more engagement, and then the customer will use the chatbot to converse to engage lagi lah. So the concept tu akan berubah daripada funnel, dia akan jadi a flywheel lah, dia akan jadi circle. So this flywheel concept ni I found out maybe late last year. It was I think heavily promoted by HubSpot. So it's a concept by HubSpot lah. The transition from funnel to flywheel lah. So it's a very interesting concept from HubSpot. Memang dia orang pakai untuk HubSpot sendiri. So we're trying to emulate that lah. So we have monitor, generate and automate. Those are the three phases of the journey, the customer journey lah, to complete the cycle. Right?
In terms of content tu.
Okay, yep.
Content tu dia akan auto generate content ke ataupun the user akan macam study the data, the reports or analytics and then come up with the content, ataupun it's like automatically create the content.
The first version yang kita nampak boleh nampak hasil yang menarik would be, and memang dah dalam kita punya capabilities, kebolehan kita sekarang ni is okay, apa yang you bagi pada the AI nanti is just isi penting je. Okay, contohnya top 10 something kan untuk you punya produk, right? So je tak point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Okay, then you just I nak artikel panjang 200 patah perkataan. Dan you tekan generate. Dan keluar lah. apa yang keluar tu is for now yang kita bicara is just a first draft je. Ayat semua ada. The digital marketing exit tu dia kena final ni lah, kena betulkan ayat sikit and then dia boleh proofread lah. So bila this process berlaku banyak kali untuk seramai banyak digital marketer kat Malaysia ni menggunakan bahasa Melayu, then this quality of article ni akan meningkat lah. That is the the logic behind increasing our accuracy ni itulah.
I see, faham. So maknanya nak untuk AI tu sendiri lebih pandai dalam generate content, memang kita perlukan ramai user juga untuk pakai di peringkat permulaan lah. Untuk eksperimen benda tu.
Betul.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's, for me apa yang cakap is that apa yang dia generate tu is first draft material je. But you tak payah nak susah-susah, you tinggal nak betul je. Betulkan ayat, masukkan you punya personality dalam the articles, those kind of things lah.
I see. So macam sekarang ni kalau ikutkan daripada the ekosistem yang Mesolotika tengah buat adalah daripada segi konten tu sendirilah, sampai konten tu boleh digunakan untuk create the chatbot tu kan. So how the different macam apa pula different perspektif lagi yang kalian tengah nak lihat dalam digital marketing yang boleh Meso take part dalam yang Meso boleh take part yang related dengan customer index.
Setakat ni yang apa yang kita plan is just that 3 tu sajalah. I tak nak banyak idea lain. But I think the first like 2-3 months lepas orang dah start pakai tu, then kita akan dapat feedback kan. We will use the customer feedback itu untuk add on features.
I see, faham.
Kenapa buat yang focus on language sahaja in terms of AI ni?
Okay.
Tu terfikir juga.
Okay. Dalam machine learning ataupun dalam AI ni, language dia consider sebagai the hardest problem lah dalam AI ni. Because dia ada banyak, jelah tersurat, tersirat, bahasa, tata bahasa semua tu termasuk dalam this problem lah. So it is a hard problem dalam machine learning punya realm, dalam AI punya realm, right? So our capabilities tak sampai penghujung lagi. Apa yang kita ada sekarang ni, apa yang kita panggil natural language processing. That means kita just process text je lah untuk dapatkan certain values, right? The next is ada 2 cabang. Satu is generation, natural language generation. So this is apa yang kita cakap tadi, kita boleh generate articles, we generate conversation ataupun kita generate cerita daripada isi penting yang dia bagi, right? Then you have natural language understanding. So this is where the chat conversational AI tu comes in. That means apa you cakap, manusia cakap, AI tu boleh faham apa you nak, dia punya konteks dia faham dan dia boleh reply accordingly. Itu apa yang kita nak capai lah, right? So once all these component ni perfect lah, not to say perfect but dah ada some foundation, you boleh bayangkan that you have your own personal assistant, virtual assistant following you anywhere. Contoh terbaik yang I boleh cakap is that, okay, now you already see Google Amazon Alexa kan. But,
betul.
If you pernah pakai Google Alexa, you are only able to give commands, straightforward commands. Kalau dia dia reply pun like 2-3 kali reply, okay, then that's that. Then it's all about just giving commands. You cannot carry on the conversation, right? So once but of course benda ni akan capai lah. Dia akan capai ke satu masa yang dia akan perfect that you boleh borak santai and you will feel like, oh, aku cakap dengan manusia. Sampai tahap tu lah, right? So our goal, Mesolotika punya goal is that once that future has arrived, bahasa Melayu, the interface untuk gunakan bahasa Melayu tu is available untuk macam Google Alexa ataupun any other personal assistance lah, right? So in the long run, what I'm trying to come at is that, okay, whenever a new technology comes into Malaysia, and if voice becomes the user interface of the future, then all this technology becomes inclusive. That means semua orang, tak kisah yang cakap English ke, tak cakap English ke, cakap Kelantan ke, cakap Utara ke, dia dah boleh enjoy this technology. So it becomes
seperti sekarang dalam creator Proton pun dah ada kan.
Betul.
Voice. Menarik.
Mana yang besar tu lah. Besar tu.
That's the aspiration lah. That's the aspiration. But in order to get there, for a startup macam kita orang, kita have to start from something that is more tangible lah. So dalam apa yang dalam tangan kita sekarang ni is social listening lah. But sekarang ni social listening tu is only available for big companies lah, because dia mampu bayar kan. And then of course on top of mampu bayar tu, they have a huge amount of data. Data yang anda simpan tu memang big data, memang big data kan. So for SME ni apa yang dia boleh benefit ataupun digunakan AI ni untuk keperluan bisnes lah, especially.
Apa yang diorang punya trigger point to see value in something like this, yang those big company?
Okay, it's all for big companies. It's all about the trends lah. Memang the mega trends worldwide. Memang big data was like 5 years, 10 years ago got the punya start. So people start to see the value on collecting data, improve efficiency, increase profit margins. So those are the two things lah: increase profit margin and decrease cost lah. So by looking at the data, they're able to make predictions. So that's one. Prediction making tu is satu lah. But the other thing is because you already have the data, kalau especially on consumer behavior, they are able to use that data untuk target customers. So you see this happening dalam Facebook kan, target audience, lookalike audience, those kind of thing. So because of that lah, benda-benda yang di capture tu, it's the same thing, because they gunakan the user behavior that they capture. Asalnya dia tak fikir pun that all this interaction, klik sana klik sini tu is valuable, but once they start to capture, they look at the trend, they see the models yang the machine learning keluarkan pattern kan, they kan it's all about patterns, right? So once they see that, okay, we can use this pattern to predict something, and then kita boleh push certain content. Itulah dia punya pemikiran dia, flow the process.
Yeah, actually social listening ni memang penting lah. Even as business pun myself memang ada buat benda-benda social listening, nak tengok brand mention, ataupun nak tengok conversation that's related to the category you are in ke apa kan. And then from there you can see okay apa masalah orang, what problems they have. You can find out like the alternatives or your competitors. You don't even know, suddenly ada orang tengah cakap pasal company B that's like similar, macam your competitor kan, like you never heard before, suddenly pop up.
Betul.
Yeah. So and then negative and positive reviews pun.
Betul. So but itulah that's the when it comes to those conversation that happens dalam Facebook, it's still within Facebook lah, because it cannot be extracted out by anybody. Kan, it's only certain companies yang boleh extract and benefit lah, right? So that's where they build up the all this social listening tools yang you say, wow, how macam mana buat ni, because of the access to data lah, right?
So kalau macam sekarang ni untuk social listening ni adalah dalam bahasa Melayu kan. So possible ke untuk besok pun ada explore tu ada apa bahasa yang lain untuk the social listening, ataupun just collaborate dengan penyedia yang sedia ada dekat ada countries yang gunakan bahasa mereka untuk jadikan dalam bentuk satu library yang boleh di in and out punya data punya plugin.
Cuba ulang balik soalan tadi.
Okay, sekarang ni Meso dalam bahasa Melayu, betul tak?
Betul.
So Meso kalau bahasa Melayu hanya boleh fokus dekat Malaysia, betul?
Betul.
So macam mana dengan bisnes yang nak pergi ke luar dan dia nak access ke bahasa yang sana. So bila bahasa yang kat sana, Meso pula boleh explore tentang language diorang. Mungkin gunakan daripada mungkin provide the language yang ada dekat negara tu, ataupun just collaborate dengan yang buat benda yang sama dalam language mungkin China dan bentuk dalam satu library yang di mana business boleh gunakan sebagai in and out punya plugin.
So okay, let me try to understand. Maknanya are you asking whether or not kita boleh buat bahasa lain?
Ya, betul.
Okay. So of course capability tu memang dah ada, because in the first place what we do untuk bahasa Melayu ni, we are actually learning from English. Maknanya whatever English punya natural language processing capabilities dah ada, mana keluar daripada Google AI ataupun daripada Facebook AI, our task is to quickly adopt into bahasa Melayu.
Ya, itu faham betul.
So that process is roughly 1 month lah maximum untuk kita, with the right amount of data, kita boleh train the new models yang keluar daripada Facebook atau Google dalam masa sebulan. Okay, that's fine. Okay. But if Mesotica nak buat for other languages contohnya, okay, a good example yang terdekat is Mandarin.
Yes, Mandarin.
Okay. So actually Mandarin kita dah start dah. Kita dah ada basic beta lah, beta features lah.
Wow, Mandarin dah start under Meso.
Itu pun sebab our partners in Singapore bagi data kat kita.
I see. Faham.
Dia bagi data kita macam okay lah, alang-alang kita buat je lah untuk Mandarin ni kan. So we have basic Mandarin. So if we continue to get, contohnya we do this SME dekat Malaysia ni, SME Social Listening Support, and then we get access to a huge number of Facebook business yang memang majority in Mandarin, dan kita boleh the Mandarin capability tu boleh catch up lah dengan bahasa Melayu. Even for translation lah, dia punya own slang ke apa ke, dia punya cara penulisan dia ke, itu kita akan take into consideration jugalah.
When you say company dekat Singapore tu, dia cakap you said dia orang bagi data tu, apa maksud dia? Macam dia orang bagi apa sebenarnya?
Dia bagi access je. We don't own the data. Dia bagi access untuk kita train our models. So contohnya macam kita dah boleh buat macam sentiment analysis untuk bahasa Melayu, right? So kita boleh tahu okay, adakah ayat ni positif ataupun negatif. Dan kita buat the same sentiment but untuk Mandarin. But accuracy rendah lah because data tak banyak. But it's a starting point lah.
Kalau different language through social media, macam jadi cakap boleh access Twitter kan. So kalau Twitter ada different language, boleh buat benda sama.
But once it's all about the volume lah. Maknanya the volume and the what we call is corpus lah, the language corpus, maknanya semua perkataan dalam that language, then we are able to start to develop for that language lah.
Besar.
Tapi but the question is, the business question is whether or not perlu ke Mesotica buat. Itulah persoalan dia.
Ya.
Kenapa kita fokus pada bahasa Melayu? Because dalam dunia NLP commercial, memang there is a gap untuk bahasa Melayu ni. Tak ada siapa, Amazon, Google, Microsoft ataupun IBM, dia tak officially offer bahasa Melayu untuk NLP. Kita Mesotica saja. Mesotica saja. So still, why we are still alive? Because that gap lah. Kita kena capture that gap lah and come up with a strong business case, a strong business model to continue to expand.
So nanti Facebook approach lah, beli.
Itu tak sebut lah, kalau dia datang lah. So okay, so that's why we are close dengan Google Cloud dan Google Cloud, because of we want to showcase that okay, kita memang for the past contohnya 3 years, okay, memang kita develop our NLP ni memang untuk bahasa Melayu, and we are able to extend it to nationwide, to multiple, because lah benda tu leceh nak collect data untuk especially for slang or memang leceh, nak label kan dan sebagainya, is memang leceh. And it requires not just human element, but it requires a lot of processing computational powers lah, CPUs, GPUs. So that's why we get support from macam Amazon, from Google, in order to continue our R&D lah, right?
Macam Google buat yang translation semua tu, is that doing the same thing?
Okay, Google Translate started off using human community based crowdsourcing. Dia start macam crowdsourcing. Maknanya dia punya translation tu is crowdsourcing. Okay. I think when it started, but along the way dalam Google Translate product tu, the AI team of Google came into Google Translate meetings. Okay guys, since you ada all this rule based of okay, English ke Malay translation dia, why not we use our machine learning ni, kita tengok how good we can do translation with AI. So that's what happened lah dalam the Google punya team tu. So dia punya performance tu melompat tinggi, exponential, because of the use of machine learning and deep learning dalam dia punya produk ni. But because, kenapa dia boleh dapat result tu is because the vast amount of data yang dia pegang and the availability of computational power yang dia ada kan dalam dia punya data center tu kan. So dalam company kecil ni kita kena either dapat free credit atau kita kena audit sendiri lah untuk train ni kan. Macam our last training macam bulan 2, bulan 3 Google keluarkan a new model untuk NLP. This model ni is what apa yang cakap ni, kebolehan kita untuk generate articles. That is the output. That is the result of this model baru ni. Okay. But in order for us to train this model untuk bahasa Melayu, it cost us about RM25,000 untuk train sahaja. And this process happens every 6 months. New model akan keluar. Tapi yang model daripada Google tu kita panggil Google T5. And then kita punya is T5 bahasa lah. Tak sampai 2 bulan lepas tu, OpenAI keluarkan model lagi power daripada tu, which is called OpenAI GPT-3. So kalau you pergi dekat beta.openai.com tu, you boleh nampak lah the list of capabilities of this NLP model. Kalau you tengok, you test dia punya examples tu, you macam wow, memang amazed lah. Cumanya benda tu mahal lah kalau you nak buat sendiri lah, that's for sure.
So what's the next step for Mesolika?
Okay, next step ada 2.
You guys need CGP and then
I
after
see,
this?
yeah.
So CGP, walaupun dia kata that walaupun you masuk CGP ni, it doesn't guarantee you funding apa ke, which is true lah, memang tak guarantee pun. Apa yang guarantee funding is revenue, tu je. So if you are able to graduate with a proven revenue generating business model, then we are able to fundraise and increase our team lah. So team ni is will be focusing more on our data team to help our CTO, and number 2 is sales team lah untuk promote the SME social listening dashboard ni. Because benda ni is a long haul lah program ni. The dashboard, the platform tu is the main one. Mana whatever new tools atau features yang keluar dari Mesolika ni will be plugged into the dashboard. Mana dia macam dari modular lah. You nak feature apa, you on lah. Mana you tak nak, you unsubscribe lah. Terus macam tu je lah.
Okay. Yeah, I think yang tu lagi senang kot nak jual. Say if you're approaching SMEs ke apa kan. I think it's ada something macam application guna this application and then baru orang guna and then you can sell it. I think that will be
it's within our control. Honestly, the one will be within our control, betul. Sebab kalau tak, kalau going to the enterprise route tu, memang it's just pitching projects, jumpa ni untuk dapatkan project, tengok apa dia nak do, AI awareness. No, it's good. We get exposure lah in terms of a small startup, and kita dapat belajar daripada orang. Because walaupun we come in as AI machine learning experts, but when it comes to building up a new AI platform tu, apa yang missing on our end is domain knowledge ataupun domain expertise. Contohnya kalau kita nak buat machine learning untuk saham, contohnya kan, nak jual beli saham secara automatic. So kita kena ada that subject matter expert untuk ajar kita apa sebenarnya yang trigger buy call or sell sell call kan, sell signal. So benda-benda tu yang this subject matter expert kena share kat kita. So it's the same case in any industry, it's the same thing kan.
Betul. So nak tak nak pun sebenarnya untuk build the solution, AI solution ni, dia tak semestinya hanya bergantung kepada tech sahaja, sebab tech adalah macam ibarat assumption. So kena gabung dengan subject matter juga yang boleh ajar kita untuk tahu dia punya proses tu.
Betul. Yeah. So from the process, on the business process tu, you are able to pinpoint apa yang kita boleh automate, apa yang kita boleh belajar, apa yang the AI tu boleh pick up the patterns yang from the available data, and more often than not, then kebanyakannya is they will start from zero. That kita kena build up the big data infrastructure. Kita kena start collect whatever. Kalau you the app, you kena start saving all your consumer behavior regardless lah, you tak tahu nak pakai untuk apa, you can capture every click, every how long they log in, apa dia tekan, semua tu kena ni lah, you have to use that lah kan.
Even benda simple macam ni lah my perspective as a marketer dalam e-commerce ni. Even something simple macam copywriting punya generator. If you guys can come up with something, it's like okay, satu klik je, just masukkan okay, produk apa, kategori apa, semua, come up with copywriting based on other copywriting data that you have yang okay, this type of copywriting gets more engagement, and then come up with those best practices kan. Then satu klik, I think that would be memang nice gila for Malaysia punya market.
That is the dream lah. The whole reason I'm gung-ho about it, because I know that I am able to meet and talk to people like you lah, Amirul, to find out okay, this I consider you as subject matter expert lah when it comes to digital marketing kan. So we need to find more people macam you. Okay guys,
betul.
How do we automate our work? How to increase our output in terms of content marketing, those kind of things. How to increase our engagement, and then ultimately increase our conversion rate, and of course increase profits lah. So that is something that I'm eager to explore dengan our Methodika ni. But of course, because we are already in Cradle, maksudnya majority of our time will be on social SME ni lah, social listening SME. But it doesn't stop us from continuing our enterprise business lah. Benda tu akan berjalan. Cumanya fokus will be on SMEs lah, moving forward lah, insyaAllah.
Okay, so kita dah about 50 minutes in. Think tu je lah kot. We already learn a lot. So boleh ni for those yang nak collaborate ke ataupun work together with you guys, ataupun nak interested in this thing, how can they get in touch with you? Boleh share sikit.
Paling senang, and memang selalu orang reach out to me out of the blue, macam tak pernah jumpa, tak pernah kenal semua. They will get you will get me through Facebook. You cari Khalil Noor kat Facebook, kepala botak, itulah dia. That's me. You add, you message, dan kita jumpa, kita boleh discuss lah.
Memang put in the description. Okay, balik ada apa-apa?
Ya, rasanya tak ada kot. Sebab dah cukup kot explanation tentang apa yang Mesolutica sekarang tengah buat ni. Such a powerful lah.
Maybe wait, apa tu? For those yang interested to know more about our capabilities and also possibilities of the AI, bahasa Melayu AI, also can reach out. Kalau you represent a corporate entity pun boleh. I can come in and give you like a rundown AI awareness. Okay, what cannot, what you need to do. Benda tu memang, I think this past 2 weeks ni I baru buat 2. Every week satu company besar. So macam let's continue this.
Okay.
So yesterday
dia paling latest dengan siapa? Paling latest dengan company mana?
Paling latest which is malam dengan Felda Investment.
Apa yang
dia orang preliminary lah, so I just did AI awareness. AI in general, AI in general, apa kita boleh buat, and apa yang, and I dengar apa yang dia orang aspire to do lah. Untuk kan. So macam I tak boleh cakap banyak lah, but it sounds very interesting lah to explore. But as long as dia ada kaitan dengan bahasa Melayu, kita boleh explore.
Okay. As long as ada kaitan, dia tu banyak potential dia besar. So keep it up with your progress lah. Tak sabar nak tengok bila apa orang kata Meso punya solution ni memang betul-betul jadi valid. So kalau Borak beli dekat chatbot tu, tak adalah chatbot dia tu macam robot kan, hilang mood nak membeli.
Tapi chatbot lama lagi kot. Kalau selagi kita punya R&D tu tak settle, I pun tak kata okay, nanti kita tak belakang dulu. Kita buat social listening. Social listening tu memang confirm boleh buat. Tu insyaAllah bulan 8 ke. Bulan 8. Something in August lah. In August.
Face by face lah kan. So social listening punya solution yang pertama ni pun dah kira okay lah. Exciting to know.
Monitor. Kita monitor dulu composition.
Monitor dulu. Ya, okay, faham.
Okay.
So, Mirul,
tak ada apa-apa dah. So, thanks for listening. So, stay tuned next week. Kita akan ada lagi episode. And then, kalau nak dengar this full episode ni live kan, Facebook live, it will be on YouTube, ada kat Spotify pun ada. So, nanti I will put the description lah. Okay, so thanks for listening. Thanks kalian. Kita lepak jap.
For comes.
Biasa, kita lepak jap backstage.
Baiklah.
Okay, alright.
Biasa-biasa.
Bye, Assalamualaikum.
Biasa-biasa lepak backstage.
Salam.
Okay, bye guys. Assalamualaikum.